to order at 8:02. Welcome to the 88th meeting of the Metro Area Transit Coordinating Board. I believe, Laura, there's some new city folks that you'd like to introduce, new staff members. Would you go ahead and introduce them at this time?
Yes, thank you. We had our accountant, Mary Fromm, retire at the end of June, and we have hired a new accountant, Ndsu Routes, and she is here with us. Say hi, Megan.
Good morning.
Morning, Megan.
And Matt Peterson is no longer with us, and Cole Swingen is now the Assistant Transit Director for Fargo, and Luke Grittner has taken his place as the planner. So say hi, Luke.
Hello.
Cole was with us already, but he's just changed his position with us. Did I miss anybody? I think that's it.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. I think we'll get going. It's kind of a little hard to do introductions in a virtual meeting. Hopefully you can see everybody names on the screen. We do have a quorum present. Our first action item is the approval of the May 19th, 2021 minutes. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those minutes. And if so, at this time, we'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Brad, I move approval.
We have a first from Brad.
I will second.
We also have a second. Any other, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next item is the item 2B, proposed fare structure changes with pay-as-you-go and best fare. There is a presentation on that. I believe, Laura, you're going to start us off?
Yes. Brian, do I share my screen or does that come from you? Because I have a start presentation.
I do not have your presentation.
Okay, so how do I share screen? I don't see a share screen icon anywhere.
Up on the top, there's a start presentation.
Okay. Just different terminology. Okay, can anybody see it yet?
We can see it.
There we go.
You can see it? Okay, great. Thank you. So as you may recall, back in December of 19, we received a brand new set of fare boxes from GenFare, our fare box company. And because of COVID, we weren't able to install them until June of 2020. And then now they've been in place since then, but we have not yet had an opportunity to introduce all the new features that the fare box provides to us. We have been working for the past 2 years with GenFare to get that set up. And so what we have now is we have renamed our system for Cards and Mobile Ticketing Connect. And so that is our new system. So we have a Connect card for the fixed route, and we have a Paratransit Connect card for the Paratransit system. So Paratransit, this is the first time Paratransit had a card or a fare box system. Everything was done previously on cash, and so this is new for will be new for the Paratransit group. So we have now we'll have a MatBus Connect app. It's a mobile app that's available on Google Play and the Apple Store. You can load money on your account and you can pay with your phone. So this will, the phone app will include the MatBus system information, route planning, and live bus tracker. And so they're developing that app right now. And then the Connect card is a smart card that you can get at our ground transportation center. You can purchase the card and register it online at our account portal. You can load money on it yourself over the portal with a credit card, or if you don't have availability for credit card, you can come down to the ground transportation center to our customer care center and load money, and we'll load the money on your card for you. Once you register your card, you can manage it on your account online. And you can request replacement cards if you lose your card. So, but if you don't have access, again, you can come down to the ground transportation center, and our staff can help people set that up. So the big feature that we have under this new fare structure is called pay as you go, or best fare. Instead of having to purchase upfront a 30-day pass and put that money out front, instead you pay for each ride as you board the bus with either your card or your phone. And you can also, we don't really, so what this does is we don't really sell passes anymore under this new program, or we won't be. Instead, you pay as you go and you earn passes when you reach so many rides. So it's more of a, you get the best fare as you ride more. So we are still going to sell one-day passes on board the bus. One-day passes are used mostly by visitors and people who don't ride very frequently but want to try the system for a day. So we still will sell those on board the buses because that's issued right out of the fare box. So under the best fare pricing, the thing is that once you've spent $3 in a day, you will have free rides for that day. So basically, you're never going to make more than an investment of $3 a day when you're riding if you're a frequent rider. And so if our $40 30-day pass will now be $42 for an adult, and it has to be an even number to divide by $1.50. So we did have to go from 40 to 42. But we also made the 30 days now 31 days. So you'll see that the price is actually going down instead of going up, even though it looks like it's going up. And for someone who's got a discount fare, someone who's elderly or disabled or youth, they were paying $26. Now they'll earn their 31 days when they paid $27. So, you know, people right now, they buy a pass and they may take a week vacation and they don't get a benefit for that week of vacation. It's 30 consecutive days right now. And so, you know, we'll hear complaints about that. We also hear complaints about, hey, it's a 31-day month and I only have 30 days. You know, what about that extra day? So this 31-day earning cycle will help with that. And also, if you take a vacation, you don't lose the money you've invested. It just stays on your card, and you start your rolling 31 days from there. So this is something we borrowed from another transit system that is doing this, that shows you what it costs to earn a day pass, how much you have to spend to earn a day pass, how much you have to spend to earn a 31-day pass in rides. And also, one of the things we could do is every time you buy or put money on your pass and use it, we could have embedded a transfer so that you get a free transfer for each time you pay. But upon further review of our system, it sometimes takes 2 transfers to get to your destination. And so what we decided to do was make it a 90-minute ticket. So once you buy your ticket on the bus, you know, by using your card or your phone, it's good for 90 minutes. So you can go to whatever many buses you need to get your final destination in 90 minutes. So these earning your passes only work with Connect. If you're paying cash fares, you're just paying cash fares, and you don't earn these things unless you are participating in our program. So changes in the fare structure. We are changing our cash fare. It's still $1.50 for an adult and 75 cents for one of our discount riders, which are the elderly and disabled and youth. If you're paying cash, you still get a paper transfer to get to your next bus, or however many buses you need to get to your final destination. So there's no change there. With Connect, you do get this 90-minute ticket so that you don't have to worry about transfers, so there's a benefit there. The one-day pass right now is $5. If you buy it on board the bus, that will continue to be $5 when you buy it on board the bus. That's an incentive for people to be part of our program because it's only $3 spent in a day to earn a day pass if you're in the Connect program. And then just so you know, the last time we increased our pass prices was 12 years ago. So it's been a very long time since we've made any changes to our pass program. But again, you will no longer be able to purchase a pass. It's just earning a pass with the Connect program. So there was a slight change again, $2 for an adult and $1 discount, but we added a day. And so it really does make up the difference for that. We do have fees that we have to pay for this system as transactions occur. We have a 5 cents plus 5%. plus 5% fee that is charged as transactions occur on the system. So there are some fees associated with the program. We already pay credit card fees, for people who use credit cards and buy their passes at the Ground Transportation Center. So we're not sure yet how much these fees are going to add up to, but that is a new consideration for us. So we have a 90-day youth pass right now, and you can't buy the 90-day youth pass under this program, but you can still earn it if you are classified as a youth customer. After you have spent $27, you will earn your 90-day youth pass, so it's very similar. Right now we have a promotional fair that is for semester passes for those students who aren't in the UPass program and for faculty and staff who aren't able to use the UPass program. They can buy a semester pass. And right now that semester pass, we set up the semester to be about 4.5 months long, and they overlap because of the different semester starts and ends of the different colleges that participate. So we're changing that to 120-day pass. So you can buy it anytime. You don't have to buy it at the beginning of the semester, and it's good for 120 days. So basically you buy, 3 passes in a year. And that is, right now we are charging $45. We're proposing to increase that to $60. That $45 fare is really, really deep discount. And it's been a promotional fare for quite a few years. We'd like to make this part of our fare structure and just establish and advertise that more frequently. Right now we have a downtown pass and a Stanford pass because Stanford is downtown. Anyway, we offer a discount of $22.50 for employers who buy passes for their employees in bulk. And we'd like to rename that the Business Pass and offer it to more businesses, not just the downtown businesses. And we'd like to increase that price from $22.50 to $27. $27 is what we charge our discount riders right now under this proposed fare structure, and we think that this should be equal to that and not a deeper discount. On the new fare structure too, we can set up businesses as an organization online, and they can manage their own cards, which is an advantage to the business as well for putting cards on and issue them to their employees. So the benefits of MapBus Connect, you no longer will need a transfer. Your ticket will be good for 90 minutes. So you can finish your trip in the system and get where you need to go with just that one ticket. You will no longer have to have exact change or carry paper change cards, which expire because your money stays on your card. There's no upfront investment for the pass or for earning the passes. You just pay as you go. And then you earn savings, which is, spreads that cost out instead of that upfront investment. For a work commuter who works and goes to and from work, once a day, Monday through Friday, they would pay no more than $15 a week. So they spread that pass price out over basically over a 3-week period and get the 4th week free. So, if they were paying, a work commuter was paying cash for those rides twice a day, 5 days a week, it would be a $60 value. So that is a discount for them of, from $42 to $60 is a good discount. The card doesn't expire like it does now. Your money is on your card and stays there or on your phone. So there's no expiration for that. Right now, if you have a card, it expires in a year. And if you have a change card, it expires in a year. And you can remotely put funds on your card and on your phone from the portal, and it immediately takes effect. So as soon as you do that, it comes right into effect, and you don't have to worry about trying to get to the DTC and load money on at a certain time because your card's running out. So that's a benefit. As I was saying, the Paratransit system doesn't currently have a fare box. All of the cash and checks and coupon books are handled by the driver, and we don't give change on the fare boxes. So what we did was take our old fare boxes and moved them into the Paratransit fleet, added a mobile ticketing function to them that is a separate reader, and so we'll be implementing this. Fare hasn't changed; it's still $3. But now instead of having exact changes, we will be able to issue a paper change card to someone who wants to pay with a $5 bill or a $10 bill, $20 bill. They can also go into the portal and put money on a smart card or on a ticket, a mobile ticket. They can also load their money on at the customer care center and then use the pay as you go. You don't earn any special prices. It's just a $3 fare is deducted each time you ride. For those people who, we have a lot of people with disabilities who possibly don't have credit cards or don't have the ability to go online with a computer. We will continue to sell our coupon books so that people can just use a paper voucher or a paper coupon when they get on the system. We have Sunday service that started quite a few years ago for Fargo, and in 2017, Moorhead came on board for Sunday Paratransit service. The state of Minnesota has notified us, since we don't run fixed route on Sunday, that we do need to offer the general public the ability to ride the paratransit system on Sundays, and we can establish a fare that is whatever we feel is appropriate. Paratransit systems fares are very expensive because they are special services where we have special training for our drivers and assistance for wheelchairs and mobility aids. So the cost to ride paratransit is quite high. We wanted to set a fare that is more equivalent to what it would cost if you took a taxi or Uber or something. And so we are recommending that we establish a fare of $25 to ride if you are not an ADA eligible paratransit passenger. So next steps. Well, we want your input on if this is a good fare structure for us to move forward. Gen Fair is waiting for us to tell them that they can move forward with this so that we can get it implemented by the first of the year. So we are looking for a recommendation for approval from the MAT board so that we can bring this back to the Fargo City Commission and Moorhead City Council. We will have to set a public hearing and notify the public. And then once the fare structure is approved, we have to complete testing. So we have a test environment where all of these things work in, and we can pretend sell cards and try things on the system and see if everything's working, if ridership is recording properly, people are earning their passes when they should. So once we've completed the testing, we can go live with a pilot program, and then we can start marketing and educating our organizations and passengers. We're hoping we have grants that pay for this system. Our final payments are due, and the grant needs to be closed by December 31st. So it is our hope to have all of this tested and in the pilot program by the first of the year, and then introduce it to our passengers in January of 2022. And Jordan has been helping me set this up. We've been working as a partnership here for Fargo Moorhead to set all this up, and so he's available for questions, and I'm available for questions. And of course, Julie has been reviewing these things as we go along as well. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great. Questions for Lori?
Hi, this is Annie from MSU. I do have a question. Have you done any calculations about how this change in fares would impact the fare box revenue that is part of the UPass agreement?
That's a tough one, Annie. We have not. We established a price. We didn't want to increase the price because we do have CARES Act funding in Moorhead right now to help pay for any reductions. So if we don't get enough fare, we can supplement that with the CARES Act funds as needed until those funds are spent down. And we really don't know how many people are going to want to do which thing they're going to do, how it's going to work. We have left on the table the options to put our passes back if it doesn't work well. So our new fare structure as an underlining piece with the passes as they stood before, in case our passengers can understand this new program. And we've checked with a couple other transit systems on how implementation's going. There's not many people who have implemented this yet, so it's really hard for us to tell. We are paying 3.5% on credit card transactions now, and have quite a few people that buy their passes with credit cards. The majority of all of our passes, I would say, are purchased from organizations for the clients, people with disabilities and employers, things like that. So it's a tough one. We really don't know how this is going to affect us, and kind of consider this a pilot of sorts to see how that'll go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think my concern is that if the fare box revenue changes drastically, the way the UPass agreement is currently set up is that, the universities are paying a percentage of that fare box revenue. And so, changes to fares obviously affect our students as well. So I'd really like there to be consideration for either how the UPass agreement is written and how that fare box revenue is calculated. Because I think calculating it based on student populations makes sense, but I think it's maybe that entirety of how that UPass amount is calculated that I really want to make sure we're being conscious of when we're making changes to the fare structure.
That is a valid concern. And, I think that the fare box revenue is actually going to go down. So I don't think it'll affect that, but we do need to meet and redo our memo of understanding with the Moorhead colleges and reconsider how we might establish our pass prices moving forward after COVID and the changes in ridership patterns. So I do believe that we need to sit down and work out a new formula for that.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Lori and Julie and folks who've been working on this. I really appreciate your work. So thank you.
Other questions for Lori? Lori, is the smart card like a credit card, and is it similar to a UPass? If I were to lose my smart card, is is that data stored someplace else, or I don't know what you do today if somebody loses their paper card. How would somebody, if they lose their card or their phone got stolen, is that credit to those number of days stored anywhere, or is that just gone if they would lose that?
Yes, it is stored into the portal. They would have to register their smart card, but when they do it by telephone and set up a mobile ticket, it is automatically registered and set up. We would encourage everyone to register their smart card because once it's registered, we do have that information. If they lose their card, we have a $5 fee to replace that card, but we will also put on any money that they had left on it back onto their card. And then we will cancel the old card. And the system does that automatically. When we issue a new card, it will automatically discontinue allowing the old card to be used in case someone finds it. And so we can also comp people their cards as well. So if something happens to their card and they said they just put the money on, they hadn't had a chance to do anything with it. If it just happened, they washed it or something, we could make choices to put some comp rides on it until they can set up their new card. So we have some options there of things that we can do.
Would a rider be able to use their credit card or debit card if they just got on the bus without going through the GTC first to buy a smart card? Could they use their existing, if they had a credit card and wanted to get on the bus, could they use that?
No, they can't. They could set up on their phone while they're waiting for the bus to do all of those things, but they would not be able to use a credit card directly on the fare box.
Okay. And will this new system enhance or give us better data on ridership, or is that a separate issue?
We already have good boarding data on ridership. Each time someone rides, there's a button pushed or the card, adds data to the fare boxes. It'll give us good data on how people are paying. So we'll know how many people are using mobile ticketing versus their smart card versus cash. So we'll have some good data there. And the fees are charged to us monthly. So we'll see, what that cost will be right away after the first month of going live with the system goes, so that we can predict, how this might affect us as we move forward in budgeting and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or comments for Lori? Okay, hearing none, I believe, Lori, you would like a motion to recommend the new fare structure go to this Fargo City Commission and Moorhead City Council for approval?
Yes, please.
So at this time, you'd entertain a motion. You may be on mute too, so just check.
This is Brad. I will make the motion to recommend to the Fargo City Commission and the Moorhead City Council.
All right, we have a first from Brad.
Soldier vote second.
Second from Larry. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Lori. We'll move on to agenda item 3, which is just some informational items. We'll do 3A, update on the GTC Phase 2 construction. Julie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am going to try and share my screen here, everybody. Whoops. That's not it. No, that's not going to do it.
Julie, I did provide the presentation to Brian as well.
Oh, okay. Is it possible to pull it up, Michael? Because I have it open, but I can't get it to share. Let's see here.
Julie, I tried sharing it. Can you see it there?
Yes,
There
I
it is.
can. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
You're going to have to teach me how to do this. Okay, so it's not so embarrassing the next time. So moving ahead, with phase 2 of the Ground Transportation Center, what we are concentrating on now is the exterior of the facility. So as you drive by, hopefully you'll see some vast improvements on the facility. What we have done, and you can see a rendering of it there, which is going to be, hopefully you'll be seeing that by the end of this year showing up in, in person. Jordan, can you go to the next slide? Mike. There we go. So part of the big demo that we did was we took off the overhang and the fascia we took on the north side. There was that large overhang, which is completely gone. On the east and the south sides, we took off a portion of the overhang, and those are being restructured so that we're closing them off underneath, and that will help prevent some of the bird issues we've had, and it'll help with some of the other issues that we run into when it was an open frame structure. And we're replacing all the lights to be LED lights, so it'll be a lot more efficient for us to run the lights, and we're increasing the quantity of it. The roof replacement, that has been a long time coming, and it was a total removal of the existing roof and a brand new roof put on. So very, very good for us to have that happen. And the exterior, I just took a couple pictures, so my apologies if they're not dynamic. But the canopies, like I was saying, that one you see in the actual picture is gone now. So the whole removal has taken place. And the deck area is much more open. So we've got more room for our pedestrians and our buses to get in and out of there. And the traffic flow has improved tremendously with that. Next slide, Jordan. This is just another shot of us replacing the canopies. This is what they used to look like. You can see all the structure in there where birds were building nests, and we didn't have adequate lighting, and the lighting we had was causing some glaring on our windows. So in the mornings when it was dark out or evenings, our dispatchers were challenged with trying to see what was going on out in the lot. But this will resolve all of that, this whole restructure that we've got going on with the exterior. So next slide, Jordan. This is just another shot when you can see it's been a massive project. If you drive by today, you just notice that it looks different and a lot of the equipment has been removed. But this was kind of in the middle of everything when we were working on stuff on the south side of the canopy. So they had to block everything off. Pedestrian safety and driver and safety and everything was critical, of course, during the project. And the next slide shows around the east side and the south side perimeters of the GTC. We're putting up this fencing. In fact, it's up right now. So it protects pedestrians and causes them to flow through just gate openings that we've got. You can kind of see one right there on the right side. And we added signage on the deck itself, bus loading, do not stand, so that people are completely aware and more secure in where the buses are going to be and how safe it is to have, to be able to board and deboard and switch between buses. The safety has increased, like I was saying, tremendously. We haven't got the signage up yet on those fences, but we will have signs, wayfaring signs for where the buses are going to pull in and which routes they're going to be. And they'll be ADA accessible, as well as they will have Braille on them. So I just wanted to show you that, and this is on the south side where, again, it shows you the fence is, Jordan, how tall is the fence? Is it 3 feet?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 feet. Okay. So so far with the implementation of it, it's been very successful with our pedestrian traffic down there. I know Cole and Luke have been keeping an eye on things down there, and we have noticed a vast improvement from people. We had in the past, people would just wander out into the deck area. Buses would be moving around, and we'd have a lot of foot traffic out there, or bicycles with folks that weren't really clear on where they should be going. So this is helping tremendously now.
And Julie, if I could add one thing that I actually just found out last week that really hasn't been shared with us up to this point, was that fence was designed to stop a rollaway bus. So if the bus were to, for some reason, come out of park and start rolling forward, that fence would actually prevent the bus from entering where the pedestrians are standing or making contact with the building. I just found that was interesting. I was not aware of that up to this point.
That is, that's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. So the added extra layer there of safety for folks to not worry about the buses lurching forward. That's good to know. Thank you. What this photo is, it shows where it's not very exciting, but underneath the deck itself, we discovered that there was quite a bit of work that still needed to be done. We kept running into broken tendons. Some of them were repaired that were critical, that the engineers took a look at all the broken tendons and recommended what should and shouldn't be repaired. So we did quite a bit of work on the deck itself. And at Municipal Court, which is right next door to us across from the parking lot, we ran into where there were a couple of tendons that were running underneath that facility that had to be repaired. So unfortunately, we had to tear up one of the restrooms in Municipal Court, fix repair the tendons, and then fix the bathroom back to where it had been originally. So stuff that you don't see, probably never would know happened, but we're excited that it did. So moving forward, we know that the deck is in much better shape. Go ahead, Jordan. And then we added seating. We actually have more seating now on the exterior, on the perimeter, than so the east and the south sides of the building than we had before. So this is just a shot of what they're actually single seats, but we had benches before. But we've got, I believe it's 13 of these seats, and we ordered 3 more. So we'll actually technically have more seating than we did in the past. So, and next slide, Jar. This is what the GTC is going to look like when you're walking into it. We're putting a sign up. You'll see it. It'll be a lit sign, and it will kind of be the crowning glory, if you will, on the building. And since we took these photos, there's actually been much more progress, and that wood look has gone up. I was down there yesterday, so now it's just a matter of putting the sign up and polishing off more all the wood look that will go under the canopy all the way around the facility. So we're excited. It's been a project that's been a long time coming, and the exterior is really shaping up nicely. And we just wanted to share that with you guys and let you in on what we were doing. So I didn't have any action or motions or anything. I just wanted to share with you. So thank you.
Any questions or comments for Julie? All right, thanks, Julie. Thanks for that update. Looks great. I'll move on to item 3B, the 2021 operations reports. Cole and Lori, I think it's item 3B.
Thank you. Is everyone able to see it?
There we go.
There it's up.
Okay. And is everyone able to hear me all right?
Kind of hard to hear you.
Okay, I'll try my best to
Okay, there we
as
go.
loud as I can here. Okay, so I'd like to start off with a couple of graphs here to just kind of showcase what ridership's been looking like in 2020 and 2021 for different sections of NAT bus. First of all, taking a look at Fargo ridership and NDSU ridership, I kind of see the trend that we were expecting here. You see when COVID initially hit between March and April of last year, we took a pretty significant dip in ridership and then slowly saw it return throughout the rest of 2020. Going into 2021, we also saw a fairly significant increase between February and March. And then when we reinstated fares back in April, we saw an initial decrease, which was kind of what we expected. And throughout the remainder of the year up through September, you can see a slow but steady increase back to those 2020 levels. Taking a look at NDSU ridership, it is quite a bit of a different story. You see the initial closing of the NDSU campus back in March and April of last year, and then a slow increase of students when they returned in the fall semester of 2020. Then through the spring semester of 2021, you saw stable student ridership until the end of the semester, and you can see this current fall semester, things have really shot up due to increased student enrollment, things kind of getting back to normal there. So you can see down to the bottom here, Fargo routes outside of NDSU only had a decrease of about 8%, while NDSU has a decrease of 34%, but I say it's confident to say that we will see NDSU numbers return more sort of normal over the next couple months, next couple semesters. Then taking a look at the Moorhead Graph, it's pretty much the same story as Fargo. You see the initial decrease in ridership back when COVID initially hit, a steady increase through 2020 into 2021. And then when fares were instated back in April, then you see a decrease and a slow but steady growth since then. Then kind of the one outlier in our entire system is our paratransit services. Overall, we've seen a significant increase in 2021 for riders that have been using paratransit. It's almost doubled since 2020. And granted, we did lose a lot of ridership back in 2020, but in the last couple of months, we've seen more paratransit ridership than we've ever seen before. It's kind of interesting to see the different changes and how COVID's affected all of that throughout this year. Then moving on into a breakdown of route by route ridership, more or less reflects those last couple of graphs that I showed before. Most of the Fargo routes, you can see anywhere from 5 to 10% decrease from 2020 into 2021. Notably, the NDSU routes are quite a bit higher decrease in ridership, and it's kind of shown before too. Paratransit again has that pretty incredible increase of about 44%, and the one major outlier too is Link FM. We did have our service for the street fair this last year, so you can see that there was a significant jump in ridership at that point. Maury, I don't know if you want to touch on any of the Moorhead routes.
Sure, I can do that. So Route 1 is up considerably, and Route 1 is the one that goes through Concordia College and down 8th Street. It's one of our downtown routes. Route 2 is the one that goes through MSUM campus, and that is down 17%. Route 3 serves eastern Moorhead, goes to the high school and out to the Target area. That one's up slightly. Route 4, which is the north side of Moorhead and does most of our shopping, the Moorhead Center Mall, the East 10 Mall, Walmart, is down slightly. And Route 5 is down slightly. That's south of the interstate. Route 6 is the Dilworth route, and Route 9 is the one that goes out by Sanford and Menards area, which is our lowest performing route.
If we move on to UPass ridership, we have some information all the way back from 2019 through the most recent months in 2021. Again, it's kind of the same story that you'd expect. In 2019, we saw normal ridership levels. In 2020, we did have the initial couple months of colleges being in session before COVID hit, so we do have higher ridership numbers than in later 2020 and into 2021. But comparatively, in 2020, from August to December, compared to January through July of 2021, we do see a significant increase of students returning back to those colleges and seeing more use of the UPass ridership.
Yeah, and we need to note for sure that we weren't letting students use their IDs during our free fare period of time. We had the fare box covered, and so the only student ridership we counted if they were boarding on campus, and we manually had the drivers push buttons to count that. So during March of 20 through March of 21, we don't have good data for college ridership. But it's increasing. The next slide shows we are on the rebound.
Yeah, exactly. So
quite a bit on the rebound. So
yeah, as you can all see here, significant increases across the board for all the different colleges. Just kind of expected as students return to campus and we're able to track their ridership on all of our other routes. So then if we take a look at ridership by customer type, you can see that both our elderly and disabled populations have increased from 2020 to 2021, while colleges, adults, youth, children have all decreased. It's kind of to be expected. Again, with fares being reinstated in April of this year, we expected to see adult levels decrease. For the most part, elderly and disabled ridership, they do depend on our services, so they'll probably be using it through COVID, through 2020, through 2021, just utilizing us more than the other demographics that we serve. Do you want to touch on this one, Maya?
Yes, Senior Ride. The ridership on Senior Ride has been coming back for the most. We're up to 15% from over the previous year through September. Most of those rides have been in Moorhead, but you can see August and September, Dilworth rides are now picking up again too, as people get more comfortable going back out and riding to their doctor's appointments and other places in the metro area.
Then from there, we'll move on to on-time performance. A bit of a background on on-time performance. We have a 90% goal to make sure that all of our buses hit our key stops on time. That means it can be between 5 minutes late and 1 minute early to each of those stops for our fixed route vehicles. And for Paratransit, it can be either between 15 minutes early and 15 minutes late, because those passengers have a half an hour window from their requested pickup time. So if you take a look across the board, things are fairly consistent, usually between a 5% to 5% decrease, or 5% increase to 5% decrease, excuse me. A couple of notable outliers are Route 20 on the Fargo side. That's something that we have been working with our first transit team to recognize if it's a driver issue, if it's a reporting issue on our end, and just trying to take a look at why we're having such a big change here. And then also we have Link FM route, which again in 2021 we did have service for the street fair. Since it's not a route that we normally do, drivers potentially had issues with that one, not knowing the route normally having increased pedestrian traffic and slowing the route down as a whole. And then if you look at the Ndsu routes, it's a similar story to the rest of our fixed route system, between that 5% increase and 5% decrease.
These are the Moorhead routes, and you know, we are increasing our on-time performance. Related to this issue as well, we have just started implementing our green light priority project. And you may recall that Moorhead updated all of our traffic signals along bus routes. And so now that the bus drivers just last week turned on their emitters on their bus so that the traffic signals recognize that a bus is approaching, and they have a low priority system that gives them an extra 10 seconds on green, or turns red faster to green by 10 seconds to let the bus get through faster. And that should be improving our on-time performance. So we are collecting data on that now, and we may adjust our time points as needed. If a bus was running below our 90% on time, this should help that, because now the buses should be better on time as they get through the traffic signals on an improved basis. So we're hoping that makes a difference. Once that data is in and we analyze it, we may make some adjustments to our timetables as we need to in our tracking system. But we did, or are today, I believe, just sending out a notice to the Moorhead clients that ride, saying, you know, be at your bus stop a little early because of this implementation until we collect the data and are able to make those adjustments.
From there, we'll take a look at some of the feedbacks that we received throughout 2021. Top complaints that we've received as an organization, first of which being employee behavior. You can see substantiated here, meaning that it was proven to be true, unsubstantiated that it wasn't. And then some of the issues that we've seen are just used for documentation as well. Besides employee behavior, we have complaints with unsafe driving. You see about half and half were substantiated and unsubstantiated. If there's any policy issues with any of the written policies that we have for MATBus, we got 29 substantiated, 22 unsubstantiated. If the drivers are running behind schedule or ahead of schedule, you see that here. And then if the drivers were off of their determined route, whether it was for a detour or just a regular route pattern. So in total, we've had 286 complaints, of which we have close to 50% of them being substantiated and unsubstantiated. Then looking at top reported incidents, most of these do just become documentation. A lot of these issues do resolve themselves or just for informational purposes. Top one is police security presence, either at the ground transportation center or on any of our vehicles. If we have issues with passenger behavior, if emergency services are called either to the GTC or on our vehicles, if there are any falls or injuries sustained by any of our passengers or other staff members. Again, if we have any policy issues with any of the MAP bus written policies, and if we have any biohazards at the GTC or on our vehicles. Then again, most of these are just documentation so that we have them for our reference later. And taking a look at some of our other feedback items, we've received 27 total compliments this year. A good majority of those are for our drivers, just showing excellent customer service to our patrons. We received 11 bus stop requests, of which I can definitely say that there is an interest in having service down by Davies School. That's a big one this year. A couple of safety issues that we've had throughout the year. We have been addressing those within our safety committee, and taking a look at what we can do to improve our services and make things safer for passengers. Then taking a look at the missed trips that we've had throughout the year with our vehicles. It was a fairly easy winter, I would say, so we don't have a whole lot for weather missed trips. Other can be anything from trips that were missed because of trains. We did recently have the Fargo Marathon a couple weeks ago, which that caused us to miss some trips, just things of that nature. This goes into driver error, which is one thing that our First Transit team has been working on to help new drivers as they're coming in to learn the routes better. And you can see we've also had missed trips due to mechanical issues on vehicles. One trip missed by dispatch error, and then a handful of trips that were missed due to vehicle collisions. And going into those collisions a bit more, you can see here comparatively in 2020 to 2021, we do have similar numbers of preventable, non-preventable, and insignificant vehicle collisions. They unfortunately are up slightly, but you can see that those are fairly close to what we had in 2020. And with that, we'll open up to any questions that any of you have.
All right. Any questions for Cole and Lori in the operations reports? Okay. Thank you for the update, Cole and Lori. Our last agenda item is 3C. We have some transit articles. Any comments from the staff or board members or questions from the articles?
I just put them out there for information purposes for those who are interested in what's happening out in the industry. Some things similar to what happens around here. We have a lot of issues with masks and complaints about people not wearing their masks and enforcement of masks. So that's our biggest complaint, I guess, is masks.
Yeah, the article on the New York subway, and just a scary situation, and hopefully we don't ever get to that point. But from your perspective, Lori and Julie, are we seeing more incidents with what's going on?
I would have to say probably yes. We've had a few. We put up barriers on all the buses so the drivers are a little more enclosed. But we've had a couple occasions where drivers have had stuff thrown at them, spit on. One got punched in the face. And those are, I want to say those are more anomalies, but people often, they may not understand, or you never know when somebody's having a bad day or anything along those lines. But we do take those very seriously and do everything we can to help mitigate that. So
there's been some training too.
Okay.
Training, yes.
Any other comments? Okay, Michael, as far as other business, next meeting, do you have any type of a proposed next meeting date, Michael, yet?
I believe our next meeting would be in December. Is that correct, Lori and Julie?
I think it's November, and we postponed September into October.
Okay.
So it should be November. Pull up my calendar.
Yes, I have it on my calendar as November 17th.
Yeah. That'll be
Yep.
our last one for the
November
year,
17th.
November 17th.
Okay. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, we will officially adjourn at 8:58.